Can the Super League struggling team turn it around and manage to overcome their initial problems? Hello everyone, welcome to the What If League. Today we are seeing episode 7 of the brand new series, the Super Leagues. In this episode we're going to cover the next 3 weeks of this experiment and see how things develop in the 5 Super League divisions. If you haven't seen the previous parts of this brand new series, please check out my channel. There is also going to be links in the description below. Especially important is to see episode 1, where I explain the concept here, what are the rules of the competitions, and what is the general purpose of this experiment. And now we can get started with Super League 1. As usual, so let's see here what happened. On the 5th of November we had a couple of fixtures being played. Overall, Real Madrid are still at the top of the table with 26 points, 3 more than second place Juventus and 4 more than third and fourth Manchester United and Arsenal. At the bottom of the league we still find Milan, Napoli and Roma, so the Italian trio are in the relegation zone. Paris Saint-Germain is just above them with 14 points, on level with Benfica and Sevilla, but with inferior goal difference. We can see that Antoine Griezmann is leading the goal scorers charts with 9 goals against his name, 2 more than Franco Vasquez and Cristiano Ronaldo. Other than that, Lionel Messi is the best performing player in this division. Moving on to Super League 2, where Monaco are leading in the table with 4 points cushion against second place Valencia. Valencia are on par with Cruzeiro, Villarreal, Santos with 22 points of all those 4 teams. Valencia have the superior goal difference and that's why they find themselves in the second position. In the bottom of the table here we find Palmeiras, CSKA Moscow and Ajax. Ajax are still struggling, they are yet to record their first victory in this division. So far they have only 5 draws, which has brought them only 5 points. Apologies for my pronunciation of the teams here. I'm trying to say the names of the teams in their native languages, so if you have a problem with that, please drop a comment beneath under the video and I will try to explain or will try to correct myself in the next episode. In Super League 3 we have Besiktas leading the way with a 6 point cushion against second place Sao Paulo, so Besiktas are at the top with 31 points, being followed by Sao Paulo with 25, Leverkusen have 24 and beneath them are PSV Eindhoven, Borussia Mönchengladbach and Olympique Marseille. At the bottom of the table we find Feyenoord, Cruz Azul and Olympiacos. Olympiacos are still having a lot of trouble. They have only 6 points against their names, 1 less than Cruz Azul, but 7 less than Everton, who are at the 17th position and are at the moment in safety. So this is going to be a very tough battle for them. We see that the relegation zone in all divisions is going to be a real battle until the end of the season. In Super League 4 we find Tigres, who are the best performing team in all of the leagues. They are yet to taste defeat. We can see that they have 11 wins, 2 draws and 35 points in total, with 3 points advantage than compared to Real Betis in second place, who have very similar results, but they have recorded 1 loss. So this is very impressive for Tigres and Real Betis. Both of the teams are now far away from their from the other teams. Newcastle in third place with 24 points, which means that they are 8 behind Real Betis and 11 behind leaders Tigres. In the bottom of the table we find Turkish Galatasaray, Pumas and Anderlecht are also there. Anderlecht at the bottom with 7 points only, which is 6 less than Red Bull Salzburg in the 17th position and in safety. In the lowest division here, Super League 5, Sampdoria is leading the way with 22 points, just 1 more than their Italian compatriots of Genoa, who have 21. 21 are also the points for Deportivo La Coruña from Spain. West Ham, Bruges and Internacional each have 20 points just behind them. In the bottom of the table we see Bordeaux, Atalanta and Pachuca, but just to remind you, Super League 5 does not have relegation, so those teams are not really concerned with that. The problem there is that they're going to be stuck in this division for a long time apparently. There were no fixtures to be played in the cup competition, so I'm going to fast forward another week into the future and see what this week brings to us. So first of all, let me say that we have a lot of major casualties in this week, and we see that the biggest one of them is Barcelona. Barcelona have fired their coach and are now looking at Carlo Ancelotti as the leading favorite to take charge at the Camp Nou team. Ajax have also fired their manager and are now looking for a new one. Louis van Gaal is the main favorite there. He's also the favorite to take the Everton head coach seat, which means that Everton have parted ways with their manager as well. The same goes for Galatasaray, Atalanta and Monterrey, while San Lorenzo are still looking for a new coach for 2 weeks now. Apparently the board of directors for those clubs are starting to take things in charge and trying to address their problematic performance in the Super Leagues. Let's see what happened in the past week. We start with Super League 1, of course, where Real Madrid are still leading with 29 points, 4 more than Manchester United and Arsenal. We have Manchester City just behind them with 24 points. Juventus have slumped down to 5th position with 23, the same number of points that Chelsea have in 6th position. At the bottom of the table, we still find Napoli, Milan and Roma. Napoli are now on the same level of points with Paris Saint-Germain, so it's going to be interesting to see how this battle for survival is going to progress until the end of the season. At the same time, Bayern Munich have climbed up the table and now find themselves in the 9th position, so they have managed to turn things around and are no longer suffering and are not concerned with relegation. In Super League 2, Monaco is still leading the way. They have a 4-point cushion against the second place Valencia, 29 points compared to Valencia's 25, the same number of points that third place Santos has. In the bottom of the table, Ajax have recorded another draw, but unfortunately for them, still no wins. Palmeiras and CSK Moscow are still there in the relegation zone alongside with them. Super League 3 sees Besiktas now really leading the way. They have a very comfortable lead, 9 points above second place Sao Paulo and 10 points against Leverkusen and Borussia Mönchengladbach in 3rd and 4th place respectively. So here we have a very early favorite. We'll see if somebody manages to catch up with Turkish Besiktas, who are doing an almost perfect start of the season. They have recorded only 1 draw and 2 losses and 11 wins, so 34 points is really impressive from 14 games for them. At the bottom of the table, we see that Olympiacos have managed to record another victory and now find themselves with 9 points in 19 positions, which means that Cruz Azul are now rock bottom in the 20th position. Super League 4 brings us a surprise here. We have a surprise leader. Real Betis have overthrown Tigres at the top with better goal difference, 2 goals better actually. Both teams have 35 points against their names, and they're comfortably sitting at the summit of Super League 4, 8 points above third place Newcastle. At the bottom of the table, we find Red Bull Salzburg have now joined the relegation zone. Galatasaray have climbed up to the 15th position and are now in safety. This is going to be a very competitive battle until the end of the season for survival. You can see that the difference between 18th place and 9th place is only 5 points. Actually, until 8th place is 6 points. So this is going to be a very big struggle for teams to survive in that division. What is also curious is that Antonio Adan, Real Betis' goalkeeper, has managed to keep 9 shutouts. So this is great performance from Antonio Adan, and he's probably one of the main reasons why Betis have been performing so well and are now leading Super League 4. In Super League 5, we find Sampdoria now leading the way with 25 points at the top, 2 more than their compatriots of Genoa with 23, and we find in third place Stoke, 22 points on par with Deportivo La Coruña and Racing Club. In the bottom, no changes. The only thing different is that Bordeaux are now in 17th position on the same point level with Monterrey, but with superior goal difference. In this division, we see that Genoa's 2 goalkeepers are leading the shutouts rankings. Mattia Perin is leading with 8 shutouts, while Lamana has 4. So a very big difference, and apparently Genoa's goalkeepers are one of the best in this division. This week also brought some fixtures from the Super League Masters Cup. This is the second round, where Arsenal eliminated Manchester City 3-1 at home. Atletico Madrid beat this is Cruzeiro, They managed to beat Cruzeiro at home. Barcelona eliminated Sevilla. Dynamo Kiev won against Dortmund. Liverpool beat Paris Saint-Germain, while Manchester United eliminated Zenit St. Petersburg. Roma lost at home to Milan, and Tottenham lost at home to Villarreal, while Valencia were also eliminated at home to the Italian Napoli. So in this second round of the Super League Masters, which just to remind you is the cup competition that involves only teams from Super League 1 and 2, in this round we saw two surprises, so to speak. We saw that Dynamo Kiev eliminated Dortmund. Dynamo Kiev are from Super League 2, while Dortmund are in the top division. And the other thing that happened was Villarreal, while visiting Tottenham at Wembley, they also recorded a win. Villarreal find themselves in Super League 2, while Tottenham are in the top division 2. Now with that, I'm going to fast forward another week into the future and see what happens then. Maybe some of the teams that are looking for a new head coach would find one, and maybe we'll have more casualties. So stay with me and I'll be back another week into this experiment. Here we are, 26th of November 2017, and in the past week we find that Paulo Sousa is now the new manager of Everton. At the same time, we see also that Frank de Boer has taken charge of Galatasaray. What else do we have? This is San Lorenzo, where we expect that Biagio is going to step back from his interim position when they find a new manager, and this new manager is Sergei Kovalov. So Sergei Kovalov has been hired to stabilize San Lorenzo. Köln fire Stöger, and Feyenoord fire Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Paris Saint-Germain have also sacked Unai Emery. This is a very interesting turn of events. Paris Saint-Germain were struggling, and apparently the board of directors there had enough with Unai Emery. Pachuca also fire Alonso. Jesus Martinez is the president of Pachuca. Diego Alonso, the manager, he has been sacked. So apparently Pachuca are also looking for a new manager. Let's start now our overview of the league. Super League 1, we still find Real Madrid at the top with 32 points, 4 more than Manchester United and 6 more than Chelsea. Arsenal did not manage to keep up the tempo and find themselves in the 4th position. In the bottom of the table, we see that PSG have again slumped into the relegation zone. They have been overthrown by Napoli, who find themselves in the 16th position. The other teams in the relegation zone are Milan and Roma, and it's going to be very interesting what happens with PSG, whether their new manager is going to turn things around and guide them to safety. In Super League 2, Monaco is leading the way with 32 points, so the big competitors of PSG in the French league are actually performing very well in the second tier of the Super Leagues. Valencia and Santos are in 2nd and 3rd place respectively with 25 points. They're followed by 4 teams with 2 points less, 23. Those teams are Cruzeiro, Olympique Lyon, Villarreal and Grêmio. In the bottom of the table we still find Lazio, CSK Moscow and Ajax. So as you can probably see, Lazio and Palmeiras are swapping their places from time to time. One team is in safety, the other in the relegation zone, and vice versa. So this is probably going to happen a lot more times until the end of the season. But things are not looking well for Ajax, who seem destined to be relegated into Super League 3. And now, speaking of Super League 3, Beşiktaş are still leading here with 34 points. They have 6 more than Sao Paulo, 7 more than Leverkusen, and are quite comfortably at the top of the table. In the bottom we still find Feyenoord, Olympiacos and Cruz Azul, so nothing has changed here for the relegation strugglers. Feyenoord are closest to safety. They're only 1 point behind Everton and Fenerbahce, so they have a lot of chances to get out of trouble. Just to remind you, Feyenoord are also looking for a new manager, so we were going to see if their change of head coach is going to help them overcome the relegation battle. In Super League 4, Tigres have once again taken the lead, so Real Betis have managed to record a draw, which has been more than enough to allow the Mexican Tigres to usurp the 1st place with 38 points, 2 more than Betis. We also see that Newcastle are starting to catch up. Now they have 8 points less than the leaders Tigres, which is better than last week when they were 11 points behind. In the bottom, we still find Red Bull Salzburg, Pumas, and Anderlecht in the relegation zone. Salzburg are on the same level of points with Galatasaray and Köln and find themselves in the relegation zone only because of their inferior goal difference. Super League 5 has a new leader. Racing Club is now leading this lowest division with 25 points, same points as Sampdoria, but 1 goal better goal difference. We also see that West Ham and Genoa are just behind them with 24 points each, which is 1 point less, and Stoke and Sassuolo Internacional are with 23, Deportivo La Coruña with 22, so this is a very fierce battle here at the top. In the bottom we find Pachuca, Atalanta and Monterrey. Nothing has changed in terms of the strugglers of the league, but at the top we have a very interesting battle. Who is going to win and gain direct promotion or a place in the playoffs? This past week has also brought some fixtures in the Super League Trophy, which, just to remind you, is the cup competition that involves only teams from Super League 3, 4 and 5. Hoffenheim have managed to beat FC Copenhagen away from home and have qualified to the third round. Then in the third round, the first matches that were played were Celta Vigo defeating Sampdoria at home, Stoke won against West Ham, this was an all-English fixture, and Wolfsburg eliminated Vasco da Gama quite comfortably 4-1 at home. This brings me to the end of episode 7 of the Super Leagues. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, that way you're going to receive notifications for when I upload new videos. If you haven't seen the previous parts of this series, please make sure to do so. Links will be provided in the description below, and you can also find them in my channel. Especially important is episode 1 where I explain how these competitions work, what are the rules, what was the initial concept, and what is the overall purpose of this. Also, in the meantime, you can check out my social media. Links will be provided below in the description. Let me know what you guys think about this experiment and what would you like to see next. If you want me to focus on a specific area or a specific team in this Super Leagues, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Thank you again for watching. Until the next time, bye.